its impact on the debt sustainability levels of this country. Okay, so this is what all the debate in Parliament was, and whether government economic policy could secure the fundamental economic interest and welfare of the people of this country. Could it make the people of this country prosperous? All of us, the verdict is out there. So that the verdict is out. This budget, in the words of Nkrumah, was dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. The estimates cannot be achieved. We are in the pandemic, whereas other nations are intervening to cushion their citizens against the ravaging effects of the pandemic. We are taxing the people to be able to deal with our reckless and manless policies. And that is the problem. That's why it's dead on arrival. Now, yesterday I read about GPR2. You're already considering the possibility of increasing fares. Already, because the imposition of additional taxes will have a cascading effect on not only prices of goods and services, but also on fuel, which is a key ingredient in the commercial activities of commercial drivers. And so they are already thinking of increasing fares. And who do you think enter the throttles? The ordinary man and woman who is already struggling to edge a living. And so that's why I describe the budget as hopeless. I mean, why do we come to this point? So now, we came to this point precisely because even though the president had told us long time ago that he cares for the next generation and not the next election, everything the president and the MPP did consequent or leading up to the 2020 elections was markedly different from that statement that he made. Teachers who were teaching for the past 4 years who never got motivation or professional allowances immediately started getting monies dropped in their phones. Tagged motivation and professional allowances. Where was the money coming from? Where was the money coming from? I mean, in the Ghana they used to call it Ayaluna. I don't know how you call it in Wa. Ayaluna. It has arrived. The money has arrived. It has fallen like manna from heaven. Oh, good. Yeah. So clearly, this reckless expenditure is what we are paying for now. It's what we are paying for now. Now, when COVID came, and I said it last week or this week on this network, the Minister of Finance was directed by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in his first broadcast to go and borrow $100 million to deal with the COVID. You remember? In fact, we had to truncate a program that we were running, that Greater Craft project, and take the money, which was about $65 million, and look for additional $35 million to make up the $100 million that have been directed by the by the president to the finance minister to look for. We also we attacked vigorously the stabilization fund. In fact, the attack was such that it was initially intended at the Heritage Fund. That why, when we are in problems, why do you think that we should be talking about future people when the present people are dying? If we all die, there won't be even a future for us to be talking about Heritage Fund. That was the argument made by the senior minister. Then when the uproar against that thought was so intense, the senior minister abandoned it. And then the MPP attacked attacked the stabilization fund with such intensity that has never been witnessed in the history of this country, and removed about $600 million. In that $600 million, they were going to pay, they said they were going to use part to pay for water, free water and electricity. In that $600 million, I mean, which was about 1.3 billion Ghana cedis then. They said they were going to use part to pay for water. They said they were going to pay taxes. They were going to pay back taxes, which frontline staff of the Ministry of Health, of the Defense, or in general the security services were to pay, which tax had been waived, and that they were going to now pay back. And all those things, that money went. And they went to feed, you remember the dry food? They were going to feed people with a $600 million. Now, at a point, we're told that even this money, the 100 million, the 600 million would not be enough. The Minister of Finance accessed the budget support facility, rapid something facility, at the IMF of $1 billion. Of $1 billion. This COVID. That was not enough. So now, the Ministry of Finance then proceeded to the Bank of Ghana and took 10 billion Ghana cedis. That is why, by a system network calculation, government could not be telling that it spent 1.27 billion on COVID. By this calculation alone, you should be getting to about 19 billion. And that is why, again, people are calling for government to account on how it used the COVID funds. Because so far, the figures that the government is indicating to have spent on fighting, this is minus the contributions by Ghanaians into the COVID fund and the contributions of state institutions. Because what they did was that immediately we passed the COVID Fund Act, they got state institutions to start trooping to pay money into the fund. How much the fund generated, we are yet to be told. The most ludicrous of all the statements in the budget is the imposition of these taxes. It's after the fact. It shows that this government cannot be trusted. It reminds us of the Carthaginian story, the Trojan horse. You should be suspicious of people who come to you with gifts. You remember the Trojan horse and the cartage where the horse was delivered, but there were soldiers who were inside the horse, and now they came out and attacked and defeated Carthage. Now, old Asian history. We were all told, and there was a sing-song of the MPP. They even erected billboards and reminded people that if they didn't vote for the MPP, their free water and free electricity would be stopped. You remember that? It's always on billboards. When government knew, at the time it was doing all that was not going to be free. Government knew. It could not be free. When we told Nana Addo Akufo-Addo that we were not against free education, but Nana Akufo-Addo, please, your government must come out with a program